Anna slammed on the brakes, her heart lurching as a dark figure appeared in the middle of the road, illuminated by her headlights. At first, she thought it was a trick of the rain and darkness, but not standing there, drenched and unmoving, was a deer. Its slender body shivered in the cold, its wide, dark eyes fixed on her car. Behind it, huddled together, were two small fawns, their thin legs trembling. Anna gripped the steering wheel, her pulse pounding. She was alone on the desolate country road, the night stretching endlessly around her, broken only by the steady drumming of rain. She turned on her hazard lights, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The deer didn't move. It wasn't like other animals that darted into the road by mistake. It was deliberately blocking her path, standing firm despite its clear exhaustion. "Come on, move," Anna muttered under her breath. She tapped the horn, but the deer didn't flinch. The fawns behind it whimpered, their small bodies pressing together for warmth. Something was wrong. Anna reached for her phone, ready to call someone for help, but then the deer did something strange. It lowered its head slight in submission, but in something almost pleading. Then, slowly, cautiously, it took a step toward her. A chill ran down Anna's spine. She had never seen a wild animal behave this way. It wasn't running, wasn't fleeing. Instead, it was watching her waiting. She hesitated, then reached for the flashlight in her glove compartment. With a deep breath, she pushed open the car door. The cold air cut through her jacket, and the rain dripped from her hair as she stepped onto the wet asphalt. She pointed the light at the deer, illuminating its soaked fur clinging to its thin frame. The animal didn't bolt. Instead, it took a slow, deliberate step backward, then another like it was leading her. "You want me to follow you?" Anna whispered, barely aware that she was speaking out loud. The deer twitched its tail, ears flicking, but it still didn't move away. Anna turned the beam of her flashlight toward the fawns. They were shivering but didn't seem afraid of her. They weren't truly wild, not in the way that most animals instinctively feared humans. They were waiting. She looked around. No other cars, no houses, just the road disappearing into the forest. She turned back to the deer. It was still staring at her, eyes deep and knowing. Something inside her told her she had to follow. Taking a shaky breath, she stepped forward. Immediately, the deer turned and trotted toward the tree line, pausing just at the edge of the woods. Then it turned its head, waiting for her again. "Oh, God," Anna muttered, feeling her stomach tighten. She could get back in her car. She could drive away, but she knew she wouldn't. Glancing one last time at the fawns, she stepped off the road and into the damp grass. The deer led her deeper into the forest, moving carefully, stopping every few steps to make sure she was still following. Then, through the sound of the rain, she heard it. A low, muffled moan. Anna froze. The forest suddenly felt alive around her, the shadows shifting, breathing. The deer let out a soft huff and stepped closer to the sound. Anna tightened her grip on the flashlight and moved forward, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. Then she saw them. Two children standing together, shivering, their small faces streaked with dirt. The older boy, no older than 8, had wide, terrified eyes. He instinctively shielded a little girl behind him, his arms stretched protectively in front of her. The girl clutched something ragged in her hands, her lower lip trembling. "Daddy," the little girl whispered, her voice hoarse. A figure stirred on the ground nearby. Anna's breath caught as she pointed the flashlight downward, revealing a man, his face pale and bruised. He struggled to lift his head, his voice barely above a whisper. "My kids," he rasped. "They're alive." His legs buckled as he tried to move. Anna's mind raced. "You've been here this whole time?" He swallowed, barely nodding. "We crashed. The car slid off the road. I hit my head, blacked out. When I woke up, they were gone. I couldn't." His voice broke. "I couldn't find them." Anna turned to the deer. It had stepped closer to the children, lowering its head gently toward the boy. Hesitantly, the boy reached out, his fingers brushing the deer's wet fur. And suddenly, Anna understood. This animal hadn't just been protecting its fawns. It had been protecting them, keeping them safe, leading them to help. She swallowed hard, her throat tight. "It's okay now," the man murmured, his hands shaking as he reached for his children. "You're safe." Tears blurred Anna's vision. Just hours ago she had been annoyed, irritated at an animal blocking the road. How wrong she had been. She crouched beside the children, her voice soft but firm. "We're going to get you somewhere warm, okay? You're safe now." The boy bit his lip, his eyes welling with tears, and then, at last, he let go. He buried his face in her shoulder, sobbing. Anna wrapped her arms around them both, holding them close. Later, as the rescue team arrived and the family was safely bundled into a warm car, Anna turned back toward the deer. It stood at the edge of the forest, watching. Its fawns nestled close to its legs. "You saved him," Anna whispered. The deer blinked once, then silently turned and melted back into the trees, disappearing into the darkness. A guardian, a protector, a miracle.